What's going on, everyone? So, Matthew Lillard, right? A lot of talks, a lot of hype, a lot of excitement going into the upcoming Scream 7 because we know that Matthew Lillard is returning as Stu Macher. To what capacity is he returning in? That we don't know. A lot of speculation on that front. Obviously, you have a huge Scream fan base that really wants him to return as Stu Macher, flesh and blood, alive, well, hiding like a recluse somewhere or whatever, right? There's all kinds of theories and ideas on how to bring him back and whatnot. We know that there's going to at least be another Scream movie, Scream 8. I think that we're probably going to get a trilogy. I just think that you need to make sure that this one works and then the next one before you do the next one. But I wouldn't be surprised if after Scream 7, we get the announcement that, hey, Scream 8's in the work, and then the rumor that, like, hey, Scream 9's been greenlit as well. But we'll see how this plays out. However, Matthew Lillard, to his credit, right, is really soaking this up. He's loving it. Right, all the questions, he's excited, he's pumped. He's like, dude, like I finally, like you said, I've been waiting, 30 years for this, right? 25 years for this, getting the call back and stuff like that. And he recently spoke on his potential return and him, getting the call and all that stuff. And you can just see the joy and excitement that he has and is sharing right now. But he said some interesting things that I wanted to talk about and go over. It's nothing that, like, he didn't spoil anything, obviously. He's very careful, to his credit, on how he says things. You see him at times kind of thinking like, okay, got to tread lightly here type thing, which you love to see, I always think is hilarious. But he said this. He said, the movie is fantastic, which is great. You always want to hear, like, hey, this is a great movie, good movie, all of that. And I'm really excited for the people to watch it. It won't ruin the franchise. And this was, again, in response to his potential return and stuff, talking about how his return won't ruin the franchise, right? That, he's really excited for people to see kind of his return, and then, that it won't ruin the franchise, which, that's my concern, right? Many of you know, I'm sure, that I am not a fan of Stu Macher returning. I love Stu Macher. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise, but it's a really hard sell. It is, right? Like, where has he been the last 30 years? Like, what, he's just been sleeping? He's been in a coma? He's been living in a cave somewhere? Like, it's hard to explain, especially in one movie. Right? Like, now, if I've talked about, if they kind of spread this out and sprinkle this out over the next 3 films, right? So, like, you kind of use this movie as the establishment film, kind of lay the breadcrumbs and kind of tell the story that and explain kind of what's been going on behind the scenes. And then maybe at the end, the cliffhanger is him alive. And then that leads into, say Scream 8, and we know that he's alive and all that stuff. And then now you can kind of continue the story, then fine. Maybe there is a path to do that. Again, I wouldn't be a huge fan of it just because I think that we should be going in a different direction. I personally think that they should be more focused on, telling a new story and building the future. And you got, new characters and stuff like that. Because you're not, like, once you do the Stu thing, now what? Right? One, you're going to have a ton of people that want Stu back that are going to hate this. Right? Because we all have the idea of what Stu Macher looks like, sounds like, and acts like at, 30 years later. And for a lot of people, it's not going to be what they envision in their head. He's not going to be the same character. He's not going to be quite the character that they want and envision, all that stuff, right? Like, so those are things you got to keep in mind. And then it's like, you're opening the door for, like, what's next, right? Like, what's the next thing that you're going to kind of cave into in order to, like, once you open that Pandora box, it's really hard to close. And that's my concern. That's where my dilemma lies. And then it's just like, how do you one up this? Right? Because that's always the next thing. Okay, you do this. Okay, well, how do you one up this? How do you, if this works and this is great and people love it, you have the potential of losing a big fan base because they finally got what they wanted, right? Like, there's just a lot of concerns in that regard, right? Where I'd rather them kind of I personally want an answer either way. But from a movie success standpoint and just logical standpoint, right? If I remove my personal opinion, I think it is best for them to leave this ominous. That's why I think they keep doing it, right? You have Kirby, who's like, hey, Stu's dead, and then you have Mindy, who's supposed to be the voice of the audience, going like, if you believe that, right? Like, which, he's not dead, right? Type thing, and just kind of adds fuel to that fire. Kind of keeps the two camps alive, which I think is good for Scream business. Can we get an answer one way or another? But, look, if they can do it in a good, convincing fashion, again, I might not be a super fan of it, but look, good writing, good execution, good delivery, I think can solve a lot of things. But also, do we trust, based on Scream 5 and 6, do we trust that they're going to be able to do this correctly? Now, you could argue that they have Kevin Williamson now, and he's in the fold, and yeah, but he's not the one writing it, right? I'm sure he made some notes, I'm sure he made some changes, but, I don't imagine that he is in there changing the entire script. So I do just have some general concerns and questions of like, are they going to be able to do this properly? Are they going to be able to hit this correctly? Or is this going to be something where we kind of look back and go like, maybe they should have left that alone, right? Maybe they shouldn't have done that type thing, but like I said, at the end of the day, good execution, good storytelling, good delivery can fix and solve a lot. And I love Matthew Lillard, right? I love Stu Macher. I would love to see him implemented in some capacity in this film. Him returning and reprising his role, I just worry about. I know if you ask Matthew Lillard, he wants to come back as Stu, like actually as Stu. A lot of the fan base and everything like that wants him to come back as Stu, right? Like I get all those things. I get all of that. And, I'm sure if he had his choice, he would be able to come back, which, that could be the case. Again, we don't know. We will see once we actually get into the film and whatnot. But I think it will be, I just hope it's done correctly. I hope it's done in a manner in which, we actually, have closure one way or another, and then, kind of can build and move forward either way. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love the idea? Do you love what Matthew Lillard said? Do you love the potential of Stu Macher returning? Do you think like absolutely not, no way, it's foolish? Are you somebody that thinks like it depends on how well it's executed, how well it's delivered, right? If they do and tell a proper story and are able to execute the Stu Macher story in a good way, then yes, I'm on board, I'm all for it. Or are you somebody that's like absolutely it doesn't matter, no matter what, you don't want him back? Again, personally, I'm somebody, I don't think that that's the direction they should go. I think that they need to just clean slate, keep it simple, tell a new story, build and create new characters, all of that. But you never know, right? Like maybe there is a version that I'm not even thinking about where I'm like, you know what? I love this. This is great, right? Type thing. So we'll see. At the end of the day, like I said, good story, good storytelling, good writing, good execution can fix and solve a lot. But anyway, again, however you feel either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.